Welcome back, everybody, for Ozark Season 4. Season 4 review. I am flabbergasted. I just finished the season. Wow, what a ride. What an amazing episode, 7 episodes. I wish it was longer. I wish we got the full 14. I can't wait. I think the most important thing that I came out here to say is, when are we getting the last 7? Because the story ends off at a really intense point. For right now, I will keep this to no spoilers, but I'm Phil the Issues Guy. Welcome everybody that's joining this evening and popping in the chat. I know not everyone has had a chance to fully watch this yet, so if you're popping in just to say hi, I appreciate that, but there will be spoilers here tonight. I will be spoiling the hell out of this season, and I've been spending the rest of my evening between finishing this episode. I've been going out looking for a card, because I need to find a card for shooting someone's dick off. But I don't think it exists, and it really has bothered me. I'm looking for that card. It does not exist. Wow. I haven't really ever been out here to talk directly about Ozark, so it's interesting to do that after 4 seasons. But I did watch this when it first aired immediately, right when the season dropped, season 1. And having been a Jason Bateman fan through most of his career, from the Hogan's Family on, or I guess Silver Spoons on, I've kind of followed or liked every one of his projects or tried to get into them. And this one was an easy one. Some of the show creators that work on this come from the Breaking Bad family. This show definitely does have a Breaking Badness to it, but it's different. It's a little bit more precise at some points in time, whether it's not about being good or bad or better or worse, but you can feel that same pedigree of the Better Call Saul Breaking Bad universe in the quality of which the show is produced. And I guess I mean that not to compare it against those shows, but to compare it as a series of excellence. I've loved all of the seasons of the show, but if I'm ranking them at this point in time, I would probably put part 1 of season 4 as my second favorite season next to the first season. This really gave me everything I wanted. It's tough when a show's off the air for this long to kind of get me going and get me into it again. This show got me right off the bat this season, and put in the first couple of episodes, they get you back into the world. But when this season starts stepping on the gas towards the end, it definitely picks up crazy speed at the end. And also, some of the acting choices this season were really amazing. I think that's one of the things that makes Ozark so incredible in so many ways. You have an incredible amount of really amazing actors doing awesome work on the show, headed by this season's stolen. Not that it wasn't stolen in other seasons. I'm going to call these people by their character names just because at times I might mention their names, but this is just because I'm coming right off of it. Ruth, especially for those of you who know. Okay. Let me get this out of the way, because I'm going to spoil crap here. I'm not alone. There will be people joining me this evening in the live chat. I see I have Jay, Sonic, Birdie, and Corey in the chat right now. We'll get to you guys in a moment. Let me take off this shit. Oh, there I am. Oh, shit. So let me get my non-spoiler stuff out of the way, so anyone that hasn't seen this season that's clicking on this video for whatever reason, you can get away from here very, very quickly. Non-spoiler. Yes, this was one of my favorite seasons of Ozark. It really hits in all places, touches me in all my television goodness. It's darkly hilarious at times. It gives me those frustrating character moments where I can scream at my screen, "God damn you, Wendy! What the hell are you doing?" Or just trying to, toughen up Jason Bateman's character, toughen up Marty a little bit. Or wanting to slap the crap out of Jonah or something. I will get into that in a moment. But really, that gives me that feeling of anxiety when I'm watching it, thinking about what possibly could happen next. And sometimes even when I predict what's going to happen next, it happens in a satisfying way, like the end of a certain character at the end of the season. It isn't what I imagined it to be, but it gave me something that I was like, whoa, holy crap, I didn't see that coming in that casual of a fashion. So, non-spoilers. If you like the other seasons of Ozark, I don't see why you wouldn't like this as well. It definitely feels a sense of impending doom. You can feel the season ending. You can feel the series ending, right? It's going not downhill in a bad way, but like downhill. The snowball's building. You can feel where this is going to go. I have some theories and perspectives where I think the end point, again, that's a spoiler, but we'll get to that in a minute. So yes, great stuff. If you've enjoyed it so far, I highly recommend it. You're going to enjoy it. It goes by a lot quicker than the other seasons because it is just 7 episodes, but don't worry. There's 7 more coming at probably the end of the summer, beginning of the fall. Don't waste any more time listening to my bullshit. Here we go. Let's get into it. And let me push this. I'm going to play this alarm, and when the alarm goes off, I will be at spoilers, okay? Good buddy. If I'm gonna try to talk about this without giving spoilers, you're gonna have to fucking kill me. Oh God, I was coming off that right at the end of. Okay, officially this is your last warning, but wow, what an end to the season with the Ruth storyline. She and. Even though I hate her to death, Wendy really stole this season. There was a lot of great stuff that happened this season, but those two characters in their journeys throughout were the things that kept me focused on the show the most. Marty's good. Marty's a little cockroach. He's going to survive. He goes up and down. The last episode was big for him. He's not a absent-minded protagonist in any way, shape, or form. It just takes him forever to deal with stuff. He's trying to keep everyone happy and plug a lot of holes in the dam all the time, always trying to be satisfying. But Marty gets his moments and Jason Bateman gets his shine this season. I'm not saying this to take anything away from Jason Bateman or take anything away from the actress that plays Darlene or any of or Omar or any of the actors this season, but Ruth they gave her a lot to do this season. They gave that actress a lot of stuff to do, and she ate it all the fuck up. She had and it went in directions I didn't necessarily think it was going to go, in the sense there was at one point in time in the season where you see her do heroin. And I thought they were going to go in a direction where she became an addict, and they didn't go in that direction. They went into a different direction, which was really interesting with her and the celebrity chef guy, which was an interesting side junction throughout the season. And I also really loved her dynamic with Marty. Even though they had a falling out of some sorts, they cannot get away from a sense of connection that they have and an ability that they can work pretty damn well together. And with no goddamn help from Wendy. Oh my fucking God, Wendy this season. This is a rant before we get way into this, but Wendy was infuriating at times this season. Some of the stuff in Jonah, I know some people, I'm reading some of the immediate reactions, and a lot of people are also crapping on Jonah and not really enjoying his side. That's why I put up the poll in the live video. And if you're watching this later in the comment section or listening to the podcast, please leave a comment or something like that. Who was more infuriating, or who are you more frustrated with, or who is acting more stupid at times, Jonah or Wendy? And I feel like they both were, and I know both would be a proper answer as well, but they were both frustrating me at different times. I think Wendy way more, because you can understand where Jonah was coming from, and Wendy, every time Marty would do something to kind of bridge the gap, or I'm blanking on Meg Bird's name, right? The Charlotte, or Charlotte would try to do something. Wendy would just spread her ass cheeks and crap the hell right over it, and that was amazing. Again, incredible performance by Laura Lindy. Is that her name? I might be killing her name, but incredible. I'm not so crazy with awards, and I don't care too much about it, but in the same way that a few seasons ago on Better Call Saul, and she's done great on Ozark before, but in the same way, I would say, Michael McKean or Bob Odenkirk or somebody deserves this award. I just mean it in the sense that was some of the best work I've seen. And what's crazy is the actress that plays Ruth as well, matched her energy. And there was a couple of moments where they butt heads in scenes, and their back and forth is crazy. And again, there's something about the way the actress is delivering the performance that is simultaneously, all at the same time, insanely funny and then filled with so much sadness and rage in all of it. But it's so funny too. There's an element of her character that is straight comedy, and when her and Jason Bateman work together, they play with it. I feel like they've brought more of the comic aspect into it throughout each season as they bring it more in. Season 1 was probably, at least in my approximation, the most dry with as little dark comedy as possible. This season, it's full out at times, and a lot of it has to do with Ruth in interesting situations. Although I understand through everything that came from last season, all that went through, but I still have a couple of picks that are nits that I'll get into. The number one nitpick kind of thing that somewhat bothered me, but not really, is when Frank Sr. goes to see Darlene to scream at her and yell about not getting paid and selling the drugs for messing up the shelters and selling the drugs to his son when he said he didn't want to work with them. He shows up there alone, knowing how unstable she is. He doesn't come with bodyguards or anybody to kind of watch him. I don't know if that's common with the head of the Kansas City Mafia, but I would think that no matter what, he needs to travel with some sort of bodyguard or something. And the fact that he was there alone was a slight nitpick in some ways. There was also a couple of other moments that I'll bring up along the way, but that was the only little one that kind of popped off to me, and I don't care. It's a very small one, but some of the shit that Darlene gets away with is just insane. And same with Wendy, and I think some element of this show is about insane stuff that people can get away with enough force of will. Holy shit. So let's get into this. Let's open it up here to the live chat. Let's see what people say. Wyatt is great to see Jay. They done Wyatt dirty. Okay. The casual way of which Wyatt got destroyed in that moment in the end of the episode was, I know people that are fans of the character might jump on that and say, it's a sad way, but I thought it was so appropriate. He had his chances. He had his freaking chances. And again, it's not the age thing. I'm not in any way, shape, or form denying any two people the possibility of happiness on this earth in that situation with Wyatt and Darlene. I've seen way creepier things in my search history. I'm not worried about that. But what I am worried about is the fact that Darlene is fucking nuts, and not in the same way that Wendy is, in the way the calculating. I mean, whoever's more dangerous, that's neither here nor there. We can get into that in the course of the evening. Call on in, 781-990-8509. Text on in, that same number, 781-990-8509. And let me know. Leave it in the comment section of the chat. Who's friggin' more nuts? But ultimately, Darlene and everything he sees Darlene do, and I know eventually he hits a breaking point, but when he finally has a way out, he decides to go back on it and decide to marry her. And I know he's looking for something, looking for an identity, and there's some element of that, but there's also just an element of dumbassery, stupidity, and guilt built around that dude. And he's got to take the pieces of bread he has shoved in the side of his mouth from talking like this a little bit, and I'm not going to say, and remember when I say these things, I'm talking about television characters in a fictitious, pulpy kind of world that's influenced by the Breaking Bad, Better Call Saul universe. And in that universe, that dude got exactly what the hell he deserved. I'm sorry. Wyatt was setting himself up for that shit. Wyatt was an idiot. Yeah, he should have left when he had the help. Wendy is like Skylar, but she actually has some use, unlike Skylar. What's funny in that situation, in that definition, I would say Wendy is more like, Corey Mitchell is always fucking hilarious, and I know what you mean, and that's funny. But I think if we're really breaking it down like that, I think Wendy is Walter. Wendy's way more broke bad in this situation. As we see back, Marty is just running his game in a different location, moving his location to different places. There's different moments where that could be useful in different applications that aren't just the moment where he's washing the money right now. And there's hints to that throughout the season. I'll get to that in a shorter video I'm going to make. But basically, Marty, I don't think's high off this shit. I think Marty likes making money, but Marty is not thinking that whole situation that we get with Omar and Wendy towards the end of the season with, you're going to miss me. How are you going to feel when there's quiet? You're going to feel scared. That I think is directly associated with Wendy broke bad. She can't come back. I don't think Wendy comes back in all of this. And I've skipped ahead a long time because I'm babbling about a lot of other things, but I didn't, because I was going to say it earlier in the non-spoiler section, but the whole season starts out with a flash forward. Where that's flashed forwarded from, or some people are thinking it's a dream sequence. No, it's a flash forward. After where I would say, and I don't think it's going to be the last thing we see, but I do think it's probably going to be in, episode 5 or 6 of the next half season. I think that, or whatever, like episode 12, that is going to be that. And we'll have 2 episodes post that. It's just a little tease to go that somehow they make a deal with the feds. But I would be surprised if any of our Byrdes die in that car crash. It's an interesting use of that in that situation that is very Breaking Bad-y that they're doing. But every time Breaking Bad used that, they didn't necessarily use it as the topping point of the season. There were always other things to come. I think in my memory, and there could be other situations where they use this. There's obviously the whole season in which they do it. I think there's another episode that I'm blanking on that they do it in. And I had one. I had one more that I was thinking. The final season where we see Walter in New Hampshire with the gun. So we could get some time jump in between these 2 half seasons, because it's going to go a little status quo, and that could be at the beginning half of the next half a season as well. I got to think about it. Watch the season a couple more times. Watch that scene, because I only really watched that scene once. I'm going to give the show creators chance to show why they're using that device, and hopefully it will lead to something, because there wasn't anything in that way that seemed we were heading in that direction with this season. So this season ends with Wendy screwing over Omar and making him seem like he's going to get out of jail in a couple of weeks or something, no problem, but basically uses it as an opportunity to build all this stuff she has on him that she can rat it out to his nephew, who's the new head of the drug cartel, and keep him at bay from hurting the Byrdes or hurting their kids, which he was insulted that he would ever even think about her, that she would think he would ever think about that. But he specifically mentions that I'm mainly disappointed in you, Wendy. So I don't think I'm telling tales out of the schoolyard. I think Wendy is freaking dead when this all comes down somehow. I don't think Wendy survives this whole series. That's what this half of season has taught me in my projections for where I think Ozark is going to conclude is Wendy doesn't survive. Wendy's too broken bad. She's not coming back. She's not surviving, and she's done too much. I'm actually crazy surprised she didn't let Darlene just die in front of her when she was having the heart attack. From using Ben in this situation and just exasperating the problem with the people that know the truth about the situation, and just, again, rubbing vinegar and salt in wounds for no fucking reason but to satisfy her own intentions of feeling powerful. Someone calls her out, or the agent calls her out on it at some point. Do you like being the queen in the small pond? And I don't think she does, but I think she's getting off on the fact that she could do this in a big city, so she can do this anywhere. Like, she's a force of nature, and you better recognize. So great to see Sonic in the live chat. I know I'm a little bit behind, but great to see Sonic in the live chat. Bernie, what? Already? I'm watching episode 4. Have fun. Great to see you, Bernie. I started the overnight at 3 a.m. I watched the first episode 3 a.m. and then I broke into it all day on and off. And here I am. I wanted to get it out before, so I can move on to catching up on another show that I know Joe wants to talk about that we'll get to a little bit later. So great to see Bernie. Jay, Jonah needed to get bent. It almost seemed like at times that he was trying to push that situation. And I love the narrative that they were pulling with Jonah and Charlotte in scenes when Charlotte was being... Okay. Charlotte went from really, really annoying to lemming, and I get it in a sense. That's how she's handling it. She definitely didn't bother me as much this season, but the way she's sort of just being a minion for him just really, really sort of gets me. Really, so it's have fun. But yeah, Jonah needs to get bent. I don't feel like... But I love how he was saying to her, that would be like you killing me. And she's like, but you're not crazy. I'm glad they brought that back later in the season, because when the moment it happened, I'm like, that's her response. I need to see a recap before I can vote on that. Yes, watch the season. Give your vote later in the comment section after you've seen the situation. Basically, I'll say my vote's for Wendy because, she makes every situation worse. I mean, yes, no, she doesn't make every situation worse because she is so capable and she is so cutthroat. So that comes in handy in a lot of situations. But when she's doing it and how far she's gone with it, she also lacks any group or empathetic thought at all. She's only like, it's my way or no way. And she's full speed ahead. And they kind of hinted that with Ruth a little bit when Wyatt says to Ruth, everyone that works with you hates you. And Ruth has to sort of assess the situation and deal with people differently. And that sets up a really good relationship and dynamic with her and Frank Jr. throughout the season, who takes the getting his dick shut off with some of the best, I hope we all can be this kind after someone shoots our fucking dicks off. I don't know if I could be. I'm sure he's smiling when he finds out what happened. Yes, spoilers are coming. I actually like Jonah's character development. Me too. Did he annoy me at times? Yes, absolutely. Was he frustrating? And especially a few moments where you're just like, Jonah, shut the fuck up. But it made sense from the perspective of everything he's seen from Wendy and Marty to a certain extent, in the way Wendy calls Marty out on this. He's sort of, without saying it, he's supporting what Jonah is doing the whole time, and actually super crazy impressed with what Jonah's doing too. So I agree. I like that they gave him character development. I still enjoyed Jonah more than Charlotte, because Charlotte to me came off lemming-ish a little bit, or I guess it's just more of a way of showing how powerful Wendy can be and how much of an expert manipulator she can be. But I also kind of enjoyed Jonah's character development this season as well. Mr. Corey fucking Mitchell. Hey, great to see Get in the live chat. Jay, Ozark season 4 is the end of. That's what I'm thinking, Jay, too. The more I start to think about it, and is going to be one of the first things we see. We're going to see some sort of time jump, and then the second half of the season will open the same way that the other half of the season started. But we'll see. We'll see, Jay. We'll fucking see, Jay. Wyatt was the one that wanted to run, bitch, run. Yeah, and especially when they came in the house, too, he had a moment where he could have just run. Run. Omar's nephew is a great bad guy. I agree, Jay. I know. I don't know how people are taking him as an antagonist for this season. I enjoyed the performance a lot. I tend to like that kind of bad guy, someone who's smart enough to kind of charm his way through certain situations. It was very effective in a lot of ways in feeling menacing, like someone that could keep track and keep his finger on Marty. And Marty couldn't talk his circles around, which we ultimately see he couldn't. When we finally see Marty in that situation that we've seen him in several times through these 3.5 seasons, or 3.5 seasons. 3.5 seasons. he always finds a way to slippery Pete his way out of the situation somehow. And he was stuck in a situation where he could not get out of that himself. He needed Wendy to stick her hand up Omar's ass and make him believe that she's gonna always be on his side and everything she's saying is the truth. And she did it because she leveraged the fact that they had spent a couple seasons building the fact that that she trusts, or that he trusts her, and that she's given him reasons to be trusted, that he's a little different, that he understands a part of her that nobody else does, this part that wants to be the kingpin completely. And some of those aspects are true, but also it was something he might have expected if he had kept his guard up and looked at the whole entire situation, because he even says it's been a pleasure to watch you work. He didn't think in that moment she possibly could keep working. He's like, oh, she's done now. They got what they wanted. She's not going to keep playing this game. And I mean, I don't think she would have played those cards if the FBI really fucked it up with the way they handled their own agent and their own agent going around it. Okay, the other thing I didn't necessarily love this season, but it's not, again, it wasn't deal breaking. It served its role as a foreshadow, I guess, sort of storyline. Sons of Anarchy would do things like this sometimes, where they'd introduce a character that would be a background aspect of the stuff going around, but eventually he or she is going to be a bigger character in the following seasons, or the following half a season. In the private investigator guy, I mean, some people might have enjoyed that. To me, maybe this was the intention of the show to do this, but he was annoying the fuck out of me every time he showed up on my screen. I wanted him gone, just like Marty wanted him gone. And when Marty said in the scene, you know what, I'm kind of done with this, I was thinking myself too, the same thing. I'm like, I'm kind of done with this guy. Will this guy diss the fuck up here for a second? But really, 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 whoa, jeez. So, okay, don't yell at me. Don't yell at me, Ruth. I'm sorry. Let me go back here. Okay. I'm sorry about that, guys. Okay, so let me try to get in the chat here a little bit more. Let me finish this chat up, catch up, and then I'll get into some bullet pointy stuff and and talk a little bit more, breaking down this season. As I said, if you guys want to call on in, you can do this anytime, even if you're watching this much later at 781-990-8509, because this won't be the only time I talk about the season. We'll be doing just regular call-in shows and feedback shows where we take calls and questions. So if you're watching this at any point in time, make sure you either leave a comment about your thoughts on the season and or leave a voicemail or a text that we'll get to. Yeah, Darlene with a shotgun is in trouble. I bet she really, really wished she had that shotgun on her as she was walking into that house. She's like, can I use the Jedi? Can I use the Force to have that like come to me in that moment? But her luck finally ran out. She's an example of somebody that just made stupid mistake after stupid mistake, but just got lucky. And they finally make her luck run out. I'm glad. That was probably my favorite bad guy moment of the season at the end, where it was almost like he's like, I have to kill somebody before I go home. And to talk about Ruth and him, how does Ruth really find him? Is she just going to go around shooting up the casino, screaming for this dude? I think it's screaming for Javi. Where is he? Where's Javi? I mean, how often is he going to be in the area? That's going to be one of the crazy dynamics coming through, is how much does Marty try to just stop her? Is basically at this point, do Marty and Wendy have to do what she was just screaming about and kill her? Like, whoa. Sorry. My scream almost knocked down my camera. So let's keep going here in the live chat. Jay, I thought Jonah grew up fast, but three balls dropped. Octave of 15. Puberty. It's true. He definitely had the growth spurt. It's just because we haven't seen the show. The show's been gone for so long, and it's so temperamental with kids. We got Kiki in the live chat. the infamous Kiki. Great to see Kiki in the live chat. Love you. And good to see so many folks in the live chat tonight. Hope you guys are all having a fun Saturday evening. And thank you for jumping on in, whether it be for a second or the whole ride, to join me for this discussion of Ozark. This is a lot. It's a lot of fun to be able to talk about this show after 4 seasons as we're leading into this final stretch of episodes. And not every show can stick landings. I'm starting to feel very good. And I shouldn't say shit like this because I'm just going to fucking jinx it when we're here 6 months from now doing this again. I'm sorry, guys, for giving you hope. But I feel like this show creator can handle this shit. I feel like he knows the way this stuff's going to end. And whether it be mildly controversial or we're going to have debates on whether it was the right way to end it, I don't think it's going to be debated as a shitty, unsatisfying ending. I think one way or another, whether it's the ending you want or feels like you can't poke some holes in it, we're going to get some sort of big, crazy, satisfying ending. At least I feel like we are. But great to see Kiki in live chat. Guy that got his dick shot off was, shockingly pleasant dude, Corey. I'd like to think, no, I would never be that dude. I'm sorry. I'm in no way, shape, or form. Like I'm the opposite of a tough guy. The opposite, right? I mean, I'm not to be pushed around in the sense, I'll defend myself if I have to, but I'm not really, like a tough guy that's going to pick fights or anything like that. But someone shoots my dick off, I'm picking a fight. I'm not going out on a limb here. I'm not hanging my testicle on a toothpick here, saying that if someone did that, it would be difficult for me to not get really, really angry and want revenge. I'm just putting that out there, Oh, Kiki, you're awesome. Thank you. Kiki doesn't watch the show, but just popping in to say hi. That is incredibly cool of you. And anyone that does that, thank you as well. And please, if you can, hit that like button and help this get out, and keep the comments coming in the live chat. All that stuff helps it reach more people. Share it around somewhere if you can, or if you will, and help us get even more people here talking about Ozark. I know not a lot of people have had the opportunity to binge watch this season at this point. I am fucking crazy, but you never can tell. Thank you. Anyone know when part 2 is going to be released? Asks Jamie. There's no official word of it. And the only thing that I think would hold it up is the fact that Netflix has a very big schedule coming up in this next year. But if I was a betting man, and I am a betting man, if I was a betting man, and I am, I would say that it's going to be either late summer or the fall. We also have the potentially whenever it's coming. Cobra Kai might not be until way in the winter, but the season is finished and being edited together right now. We also have the next, and maybe is it the last season of Stranger Things, I think, coming in the summer. So I could see this being the thing that gets released between those two other things. We could get Stranger Things in the summertime, and then in the late fall get the final 7 episodes of Ozark, and then get Cobra Kai in the winter. I'm trying to think how long apart because the only other show, and people can correct me if I'm wrong, the only other show that I remember doing something like this on Netflix was BoJack, and I don't think it was as long as it could have been, So I don't think we have to wait too long. I will say probably the fall. That is my guess. And this rum and Coke is good. Excuse me. Been a while since I've had rum and Coke. Woo, tasty. I mean, Wendy's goals were like, I want to be fucking president. I would go, she wants to be Lord and ruler she wants unlimited power. That's what Wendy fucking wants. Unlimited power. Linney, love. Dude, why did you leave the other 3 out? What? Oh, why did they leave out 3? He shows up in the last couple of episodes, and I'm like, who's looking after that kid? Oh, do you know what I thought you meant, Lainey Love, when I read your comment, I thought you meant why did I leave Marty and Charlotte out of my poll up there. But yeah, exactly. That's a good point. When they mentioned him, when they finally said his name, I was like, who? I definitely had a who moment. I was, oh yeah, dude, they totally forgot about him. So you're absolutely right. Hey, we got the Walking David in the live chat, our good buddy, the Walking David. Great to say hi. Thank you. Hope you're having a great Saturday evening, my friend. And now that I am going again, I got to, I always say this, but I got to touch base with you ASAP for us to do something soon. Maybe when the walking thing is coming back soon, and to your namesake, we got to get you on that as well. So, blubbity, love you, David. Talk to you soon. Make sure everyone check out The Walking David on TikTok. Killing it. And also here on YouTube. Okay. So, Corey Mitchell. Marty enjoys the challenges of moving money because he is really, really good with it. I think Marty enjoys the laundering aspects. Meanwhile, Wendy wants to take over the power. And I think you're 100% right, Corey Mitchell. As always, I love your takes on things. I would agree with you, only to add that I think Marty also enjoys the protection of the money with his family. And a lot of this he's doing out of necessity, which comes to, and he might not have gone this far with it if it wasn't for the fact that feeling like if he didn't do this, his family would be in danger, and he's waiting for that moment for things to disappear. But when he's doing it, he's like, if I'm going to do this, I'm going to do it right. If we're going to do this, and that's why he's almost more like Skylar, but useful. In the sense of, if we're going to do this, Walter, we got to organize this correctly. You just can't, we have to buy a business. We have to go through this. We got to do this. And whereas Wendy, again, is more, and it's not a 1-for-1, but because obviously Marty was the one that started this down this path and all that. But that's where I compare Wendy a bit more with the Walter of it all. But great to see Lady Starfall in the live chat. Totally need to rewatch things because I'm missing some things. Yeah, I'm spoiling the hell out of it. So I feel bad, but definitely tread lightly, as they say. Did anyone else cheer when Ruth called Wendy a cunt? I think half of America cheered when Ruth screamed, "Shut up, you!" It was the best. It was the best yelling of the word cunt ever in a television show or movie since Misery, since James Caan yelled at Kathy Bates, "You sick, twisted." But yes, it was one of my highlight points of the season, or just in general, seeing the few people, especially with Ruth, because I hate Darlene, and I'm like, dead Darlene walking. Will someone handle this, please? But Ruth really, I was just going to Dr. Cox this, Ruth really calls Wendy out. Ruth does not take Wendy's shit at all. You manipulative, blubbity blah blah. Like she's just guns a-blazing on Wendy, and I am so here for every goddamn second of it. I love it. It's one of the highlight points of this entire season. There are so many of those. I feel like I could just say everything's a highlight point of the season. But if I have to say my MVPs, my most valuable, I was going to say players. I was going to say something else, but but yes, would definitely be Ruth and Wendy. Almost through the series, but especially this season. Hey, Real YT. Hey, haven't watched it. Do you know? Did not know Phil was going to review this with such short notice. Sorry, Real YT. I was trying to get out here as soon as possible after I binge it while it is still fresh. It is so difficult with these Netflix series. This YouTube is so difficult. But the Netflix series are so difficult to know how to cover them. A show like Ozark, I am appreciating and I love binge watching it, but the way it builds up anticipation and tension, it would be an amazing week-to-week show. I'm not saying every I think whereas something like Cobra Kai, I think plays so much better for a binge. Not that it wouldn't be good week to week. It's just so much of a better binge show. Something like Orange is the New Black was a better binge show. Something like Mindhunters or House of Cards or some of the more mystery-oriented solve stuff, dig in, finding clues in each episode for the next episode stuff. I think Ozark would have been a good week-to-week episode series. That being said, I'm glad I get to binge it. I'll eat all that up. Don't ever change. I prefer binging in some ways. But when it comes to talking about something out here and knowing like the times to do it, when to do it right, you know, some part of me is like, do I stay up till 3 a.m, binge watch the whole thing and then do it at 5 a.m, right after I have a chance to watch it all? It's tough to know how and when to talk about this kind of stuff in this context so yes. So definitely please check out the series, catch up, and then come on back and watch this and leave your thoughts in the comment section. Wendy is a ruthless motherfucker, Lady Starfall. Lainey Love. No honor amongst thieves, even when it comes to blood. Omar's throwing his nephew under the bus and sets him up in a really dangerous situation being a rat. And clever move by Omar leaving and setting it up if it wasn't for the feds fucking it all up by not honoring the agreement to begin with and trying to harvest more money out of the whole situation. It would have all ended up working out. But I don't blame the agent for going after the situation and screwing everybody over, because if she's going to be a stick in the mud and she's not going to get respect for what she's doing, she might as well be that stick in the mud and deal with people that actually want to solve the problems and solve the crimes. Oh, Lady Starfall, I unfortunately, sorry if I've said anything already, I'm way into spoilers. Yes, spoilers away. Or if you were asking if it's okay in the live chat, it is. 100% spoilers away. Bombs of spoilers away. I got spoilers in the title of the video. We're good. Bring it. Yeah, Charlotte was just there. I'm not against spoilers. I'll watch it anyway. I felt like Charlotte was just a plot device for exposition. I feel like after a certain point in time, when there's only so much they can do with the rebellious sort of thing, which was her first use on the show, and then after that, she's exposition. But I also think, as I was saying a little bit earlier, I think she is a tool to show how much power and ruthlessness Wendy has. That Wendy has lemminged her own daughter, that she has lobotomized Charlotte through the course of the seasons, that we saw Charlotte at the beginning was way more against this than Jonah. So strong-willed. We're going to move out. We're going to get away from all of this craziness. So against it all. And Wendy, through her sheer ruthlessness and will and manipulation, has completely taken over in the way that Freddy Krueger took over that kid's body in Nightmare on Elm Street Part 2, completely taken over Charlotte, and she is just a minion of her now. And there's a couple of moments where I think we see Charlotte supposed to pull her way out of it a little bit, but I don't think she's quite there, and I don't think she'll ever get there. I think we heard some foreshadowing in the way that Jonah was talking to her about what's going to happen when mom fires you for something. I don't think it's going to be mom fires you. I think it's going to be mom dies. I'm saying it again. I think Wendy dies in this next half of the episodes. Marty makes it. Wendy dies. Marty and the rest of the family survive. Wendy Byrde dies. Wendy Byrde's dead at the end of this series. There's no other solution for her character. And I think Marty's going to have an interesting future that I am going to save for a video I'm going to make. But Wendy is fucking dead. Dead, I tell yous. Dead. Charlotte is the new Wendy. And that's what she's making her mini-me. She has been able to stick her hand completely up Charlotte's ass, Lady Starfall. And she is in full control of what Charlotte does. Why are all the drug cartel guys the same, though? I feel like I'm watching Narcos. Fair enough. There is some element of we're still dealing with Hollywood writers that only know how to write certain kind of characters a certain ways because they only have so much inside information about it, and especially shows that maybe try to do it in a focused way to give, pulpish, but some form of a real dynamic of it. It's hard to not have some sort of comparisons with some of the ways that some of the gangsters or the cartel guys are depicted in shows like Better Call Saul or Breaking Bad or in something like Narcos or something. I feel like that's more, it's hard, if you're going to do something, it's hard to not fall into certain Hollywood stereotypes in the way that you depict characters. That's why I like the way that they've used Frank Sr. in the way that the Kansas City Mafia is treated in this, in a very sort of disrespectful way in some ways, in the way that they're sort of pushed around. So yeah. But that is an interesting and good point, Lady Starfall. Peacemaker, though, that's been my show. It's amazing. Corey Mitchell, Joe Dirty Locks messaged me this week. He goes, Phil, you're watching Peacemaker. I know that's his code for I want to review this show. So we're going to get, I'm going to catch up with that. And then Joe and I will be doing reviews, or at least end season kind of thing. But maybe I'll try to catch up so we can do week to week, or at least a couple here and there. I got to catch up all on it. I got to get all up in it now that Ozark has happened. But Joe Dirty Locks is a huge fan of Peacemaker, and he can't wait to talk to you guys about it. So we will get a podcast very soon about what did Joe think about that. What did Joe think? What did Joe think? Joe would be here tonight, but he needs to catch up on Ozark, so he did not watch. But maybe we will be able to get him for the second half of the series. The private investigator was a pain. The way he walked into their house, man, he would have gotten hands. Seriously. Again, I'm not complaining about nothing really unsatisfied me this season, but he was an annoyance. He was a little flea. I wanted him to go away. I would have been fine if especially with all he basically amounted to, I would have been fine if he was just a character that showed up once at the beginning of the season and then once at the end with calling the cop. We didn't need to see him go to every character. And I know he had a little bit of causing hijinks a little bit here and there with playing Columbo. He was I'm no big city lawyer. I was playing a little Davos-y at times, a little, I'm no smart. But whatever. I feel like they should have gone a little less with his character. If you ask me. Less would have been more with him. I felt like we kept repeating the same scene over and over with him, and he kept crossing lines. And I mentioned this earlier. I was like, Marty at one point in time goes, I'm done with this. Like, I'm so over this. And I was kind of over that dude. I was over him. Hey, Charlotte, what do you think of? She starts to respond before she can pan over the next scene. There better be. Feeling free to walk up on my property. Back in the 90s, I was money laundering for the cartel. I am Marty Birdman. We got Bridge 4 in the live chat. Bridge, I need to talk to you. I was watching some YouTube videos and going down a rabbit hole of one of my favorite shows. Sometimes I think this is why I love you, Bridge. I love you for a lot of reasons. Bridge 4, everybody in the live chat, if you haven't already. And I don't know where you are. You're hiding. Make sure you subscribe to Bridge 4 for some of the best stuff here on YouTube. So Bridge 4, great friend. I almost am embarrassed to talk about it in an Ozark review, but I was looking through YouTube videos on a show, one of my favorite guilty pleasure shows, and I look in the comment section of one of like a clip from the show, and Bridge 4 is like, I love you, X character. And I'm like, oh my goodness, yes, you love this show too. We need to do something about that show one day. We gotta make Tony watch it and do a Usual Suspects thing on it, or you and me have to do something. Anyways, Bridge, love you, buddy. Make sure you subscribe to Bridge. I am Marty Birdman. My wife is a hoe. Please, P.I. told Maya he admired her. It was stated that he's very good, so he will cause problems. But they had set up his drinking problem as a weakness to exploit, and Wendy found out about that. It's very true. And Wendy is one of the best characters we've seen in almost any show, being effective at exploiting weaknesses, Bridge. So that's a very good point. And I don't know if he's going to end up being a problem or he's going to be more of an annoyance than a problem. I tend to see him, I think him and Maya's more of someone I am concerned about moving forward to bringing the Byrdes out. But I also think Maya might be the savior of the situation too when it comes to Marty. That something's been sort of hinted at that earlier in the show. So very good stuff. And I do think the detective could easily be dealt with in a very messed up fashion. And we could see an even completely as another opportunity to see a crazy dark side of Miss Wendy Byrde. So let me continue in the live chat here. What's the detective's role in all this? Kind of perplexed by him. Okay, if people couldn't pick up exactly why he's there, what he's doing, if we're to take him by word of what he's saying he's there for, he is Helen's husband's lawyer that needs Helen's signature or a death certificate for complete custody of the kid and won't be paid until he gets either thing. That's what's been told to us in the show of who he is and where he fits into all of that. So if there's more to it, if there's something else he's connected to, I don't think it's been evident, but I think that's basically where he comes from and what he's doing. But he is going to be very dangerous, I think, in this next season. Although, as Bridge pointed out, he could just be another castle for Wendy Byrde to figure out how to topple. P.I. is working on a divorce agreement, so he wants to find Helen dead or alive, and Erin knows about Helen's business now. Charlotte warned Erin to keep her mouth shut. But will Erin keep her mouth shut, or is she just going to keep her mouth wide open? Ooh, yeah, that's bad. Or is she going to keep her mouth wide open and just try to not settle for... Charlotte's not effective in anything she does. So she did kind of try to pull a Wendy there with her, with Erin. She did try to give her, put the full court press on the situation like her mother would. But I don't know. I think Erin's too normal in some ways, and she's going to want to tell the truth. She's not going to be able to, the guilt of this whole situation and the way it was all just so unreal, she's going to need to unburden that more than she's going to be afraid of Charlotte and her family. So, I don't know. I think this PI is going to continuously be a P. I was trying to think of initials for pain in the ass. This PI is going to be a PIS. Oh my goodness. I'm not getting drunk. The nephew didn't fuck around with having dialogue with Darlene. It was great. Finally, Darlene was in a situation she couldn't wiggle her way out of or get to the shotgun in time to get in that situation. I love that the chickens finally came home to roost, Bobby Boucher. It was about frickin' time for Darlene. And again, television character, not a human, finally got what she deserved. I think the PEI is an undercover cop, Rich. I've watched it 3 times and working on a handful of videos since 3 a.m. Friday. Self-diagnosed OCD. So make sure you get ready to check out Bridges stuff on this show. Get on over there. And I love that you love this show, Bridge. And I got a couple of little theories and stuff about the end point. I look forward to babbling to you about. Sorry, I said your comment before you deleted it. Corey says, my only complaint is, and this is from the last season also, but the Ruth Ben romance seemed kind of rushed. Yeah, I mean, the way it kind of got forced on there, it did, but I think they explained that a little bit better throughout the series at the end with showing how much Ruth is in need or in want of some sort of family. She feels like she doesn't really have anything, even though she knew she had to kill her father and uncles had to die and all that sort of stuff. She's still left now, especially with Wyatt gone, with a sense of no family because that other kid doesn't fucking count. 3 or 4, whatever his name is. But so she was sort of looking for something in a hurry in that way too. So that's how I might explain that to a certain extent. He kept saying he needs a signature. Something is off about that. P.I. had a flashback. He was a former cop, but he got busted for doing drugs in an evidence locker. Thank you. I knew Wyatt was fucked when he told Ruth he wasn't going. She simply works by a code. She already did something similar in season 3. Agent Trevor Evans turned in Helen's confessions, and even though knew it was fake, so Agent Maya Miller reported him. They should have killed Wendy during the middle of one of her smug speeches. I almost thought that Wendy was going to kill Ruth when Ruth was screaming, "You're going to have to kill me." And in that final scene of the final episode, I thought that maybe Charlotte was going to come there and like shoot Ruth in the back of the head or something. Or so, like, I mean, that might have been too crazy, but I almost felt like something like that was going to happen. And I know when Wendy is thinking in that moment, she's thinking, okay, I'll kill Ruth. I have no problems killing Ruth. I think they all die in the car crash from the beginning of the show. Lady Starfall, that's certainly possible too. It's certainly possible that the whole thing ends with them somehow thinking they could get away, and then they die in a situation like that. So I wouldn't be surprised. That's why it's really interesting and cool to have something like that, to have that part of the narrative. It creates, I think, more interesting ways for someone that's into analyzing and digging deep to try to go, okay, if they put that at the beginning and the clues to the solution of that is throughout the season, it's there somewhere. So I think that was really smart to add a interesting cliffhanger, not cliffhanger, so you could end the season on a point where, you ended at a point where Ruth is really angry, she's going off, but you didn't really cliffhang the end of the season. But you cliffhang the beginning with them potentially dying in the car crash. The end of the season sort of ends at a really just strong point that feels like a middle point of a season. It really does. I think that's one of and this isn't a weakness, this is just a thing. This didn't feel to me like a mid-season finale. It felt like a middle of a season episode. Like Ruth is on to the next thing at the end of this episode. And some people could be like, it did feel conclusive. Yeah, I'm not saying it didn't feel conclusive. It felt like it was the conclusion of one of the arcs and we're going to get another one. But it feels like there's more to do in this season and we just reached that center middle season climax that some shows have. And then they come up for the second one. Like if we're watching Daredevil season 3 or one of the Marvel Netflix kind of series that have multiple apex points throughout each season. So I think this season's going to play really well watching as a 14 episode block. If I wasn't insane and needed to come out here and talk about this and then overanalyze what's going to happen for the next 6 months about Ozark and do all these like prediction videos and shit about what I think's going to happen, I would have just waited, because I think these 14 episodes are going to be really incredible to watch all back to back to back. Because imagine coming from this moment right there. This is a Hank finding out, running over to deal with Walter. And yeah, we did get that skipped into season 2, but that's the same sort of thing. Watching that when you're watching it live, it's like, fuck yeah. Jonah had spoken to Charlotte multiple times about going to college. Even Javier mentioned college to Charlotte, so that's probably her endgame. I'm hoping that ends up being her endgame, because she's someone who could really benefit from a college experience. I think Jonah's going to be generally all right through all of this. I think he's strangely capable and strangely a savant. What did Ruth say? A servant? He's one of those servants. But I think Charlotte needs some damn normalcy in her damn life. There we go. Whoa. The best Wheel of Time content out there, Bridge 4. Bridge is like, what show are you talking about? Well, what show are you talking about? I don't know. I vaguely remember the PI alluding to the fact that he gets info from a friend still in the Force. I'll take that with a grain of salt, though. And what show am I talking about on my own? I don't know. It's maybe something to do with singing. Anyways, let's continue in here. Servant. Thank you, Bridge. He's one of those servants. So, okay, let me go through a couple of bullet points and stuff just from immediate thoughts of the season. I've been looking for a card to shoot someone's dick off, but line of the season is from Darlene. In a season where Ruth had so many great one-liners, especially that last line she has in the entire season about "you're gonna have to kill me." It's like the 10th time I've quoted it tonight. Very fucking quotable, and her scream was heavy metal worthy of awesomeness. Still, the line of the entire season was Darlene talking to the Frank Jr. about shooting his dick off, and she goes, "I've been out there looking for a card to apologize for shooting your dick off. It doesn't exist." Just a very, very good line. Music is great in this season. Music symbolizes and adds to the danger in every single scene of Ozark. And same with the coloring and the way that everything's shot cinematography wise. It's a very unique, or that's not necessarily what I mean unique. It's just, you see it and you know what you're watching. just from the color palette that's used in the film stock or the video film stock, the filters that they use on the video to make it seem like film. Whatever. You know what I mean when I say film. It has the colors that just feel like the show. Same with Better Call Saul. It's something that's familiar with Better Call Saul. And Breaking Bad plays with it a little bit too, but I think Saul does it more than Bad. And I think Ozark does it almost as much as Saul does it. But the way they play with the colors, the way the film, it just has such a look to it that is so Ozark. I'm not saying Les Mis, but I like Les Mis too. Buddy, great musical. I don't care. I'm joking about not wanting to say it. I am a freaking Glee fan, especially the first 3 seasons. I love the first 3 seasons, and I was going on a rabbit hole of watching Glee videos, and I was watching some Naya Rivera Santana videos, and I look in the comment section, and I see someone in capital letters, "I love Santana, Bridge 4." Bro, on my YouTube banner, I've got the number 24601. That's his prisoner number. It's funny that I chose to sing on my own to symbolize Glee, but that's the damn show. That I almost want to do a huge breakdown with you about that at some point in time. Anyways, okay, so Wendy flirts a ton with Omar this season. It's she just gets up in it. She wraps him around her finger all season long. It's a slow burn game that she's been playing for multiple years now. And the point where she is with Omar now, she just owns him. She freaking owns him and is in almost full control of every meeting between the two of them. And it's so amazing to watch how she's done that from step 1 to step 2. I know I know what I say because it's the first song that's on the first episode, I believe, but But yes, I was going down a rabbit hole watching Santana songs. And yes, Quinn's mine. If I had a crush from that show, I would say Quinn. But Santana's number freaking 2. Anyways, okay, so we'll talk about this a little off air. Wendy. Okay, so Wendy was. Omar created Omar to just be dumb in the long run. But I think Wendy's decision at the end of the season to sort of screw over Omar in this way is going to be short-sighted in the long run. I think she underestimates his reach, even in this situation, in his ability to use Arrested Development, to circumvent the situation. He's going to have a lot of time to think, a lot of time to plan, a lot of time to plot. And he's going to figure out a way around whatever protection she thinks she has from all of this. Bridge says, did you talk about the opening scene being a flash forward? When do you think it takes place? Talked a little bit about that, but to go back there, I think that it took place either right before... Okay, episode 14 is the final episode. I think it's going to be maybe before episode 12. If we go by the Breaking Bad thing of thinking when the flash forward that we saw in the final year was, and I know this isn't a 1-for-1, but they're definitely influenced by it. I think we're going to get at least 1 full episode after that accident. I tend to think we're going to get 2 full episodes. The other thing that's a possibility that's sticking in my head is maybe that we get a flash forward after the end of this season, a few months down the line, and we start the season off again. But I think either way, we're going to get a little bit of flash forward. I would say it's the penultimate episode. I think we're going to get the car crash in the episode before the penultimate episode. So episode 12 is going to be the car crash episode. That's just that would be my speculation. I think we're going to get a lot of stuff after that, more than we think. So, and I guess a lot of that maybe could depend on the fates of the characters in that car. I don't think they're going to end up. That's a pretty damn bad accident. I don't see them walking away from that. So let me continue. Jonah. Penultimate Squared. Yeah, the Penultimate Squared episode. Jonah had a huge season. It's going to work for some people. It's going to not work for others. It worked for me. I actually really liked Jonah this season. I didn't like him in the sense of not blaming him for some of his stupid choices in the way that he chose to. I don't mind him being against Wendy. I don't mind him being against Marty. I don't mind him doing anything, but he should be smart enough to stay the hell away from Darlene. Stay the hell away from Darlene. That's all I'm saying. It seems to me that Darlene is danger. And anyone with a brain could look at her and be like, yeah, I don't see anything ending up good when dealing with her. Excuse me for 1 second. This break is brought to you by Hippie Activities. Okay, Bridge. This is why I think he's mad at her at the end, because I think, and again, I rewatched it twice, I rewatched the final episode and parts of that scene twice, because I needed to understand it, because it didn't make sense in context to me either why he was immediately mad at her. I think what we're supposed to believe is that she lied to him when she went to go see him the day before or whenever it was and said, you'll be out of here in 48 hours. Don't worry. You'll go back down to Mexico. You're protected. Yada, yada, yada. Just guarantee me this, guarantee me that, and all this safety sort of stuff. And all the guarantees, call Marty, save his life. Tell him to tell your nephew to take the deal with the FBI. You'll get out of jail. You'll go down. We'll make sure you're out of there. I promise you. I have your side. I have your side. I have your side. I think she was bullshitting him, and he's stuck in jail at this point, that he's not getting out. And when at the end, she produces all those envelopes and stuff, and they start talking to him like, we didn't tell your nephew, that you ratted him out and the whole cartel out. And we won't. And all these other things that you did that we're protecting ourselves for. And if you don't hurt us or hurt our family, because remember Omar said to her, if I'm not out of here in 48 hours, my man will kill you. And she's saying, if anything happens to us, your nephew will find out, and I'm pretty sure he's going to want to torture you. It was a weird edit where they cut her speech in half a little bit in a weird way, where it almost seemed like a jump, where she's saying one thing and then she immediately goes, you're probably going to get tortured if he finds out. So I think that's why he's like, you broke my trust, and why he's specifically focusing on Wendy breaking his trust, because she's the one that sort of ganked on him personally, like used his affections for her, flirted with him, allowed him to think he was in the power spot while playing the Lady Macbeth thing and working the whole situation. And he's finally realizing that he got completely duped, and Wendy's just caring about Wendy, and she is not his friend. She won't keep a relationship. She doesn't have his back. He's also offended that she hit the kids, because even if he was going to kill them, he's like, I would never hurt a kid. And he thinks that Wendy should know that. And that also hurts his feelings, that even if he was going to fuck them over, she would ever think that Wendy would do anything. Holy shit, Fernandez T. This is for showing the weed. Showing the weeds. Puff, puff, pass, motherfucker. Thank you so much to Fernandez T, who wins the super chat donation. And I got to spin this damn wheel for Fernandez. Let me spin the wheel. Put the volume up. Here we go. Big money. Big money. Oh, no. Oh, yes. It landed on Phil Drink, or I swear it didn't land on Play a Trumpet Solo, because no one wants that. Here we go. He knew where her children were hiding despite being imprisoned. He said he doesn't kill children. Was that the truth or threat? I think it was the truth, because he had his man. Again, what he was saying before that scene, when he said to her, if you don't get me out of here in 48 hours, you're going to die. His main dude, his number one guy, was over there watching the whole situation. So so it doesn't surprise me that Omar's guy, hitman guy that was on point getting ready to kill the birds, if he's not out of there in 48 hours would know in that situation. So Fernandez, I'm kidding. You did land on the trumpet solo, so I know you're just gonna tell me you'll give me another super chat if I don't play the trumpet. But win is win. So let me play a quick little something for you, buddy. Quick little something. Oh no, it sucked. Okay, there you go. Hopefully that wasn't too loud. There you go, buddy. Thank you so much for the super chat donation. I just took a shot with you. Puff along with me. Here we go. One more toast for you, Fernandez T. Thank you so much for that super chat donation. Very, very much appreciated, buddy. Woo, woo. Sorry if that was ridiculously, disgustingly loud. Please tell me how horrible that was. Oh, it was horrible. Okay. So, that makes the most sense. Omar's fallen in love with her. So when he hit her children, he felt his heart broken. Absolutely. He felt that, how dare she think that he could do anything like that? Absolutely. He knew where her children were hiding despite being killed. Okay. I've already recorded my video. I'm going to have to record a few sentences. Thanks to you, Phil. I'll try to remember to record a line and shut on the stream. Oh, thank you so much, Bridge. That would be very fucking awesome. Very much appreciate that. And maybe a few months down the road before the new season comes, I can have you on a stream to talk about some predictions for the new season. So make sure you're subscribed to Bridge 4 for some amazing Ozark coverage and all of a bunch of other shows as well. So make sure you subscribe to Bridge 4. Thank you, Fernandez T. So it wasn't disgustingly loud, right? Okay, good. I just want to make sure I didn't blow your ears out. I'm out of practice and I'm picking it up raw. So thank you, Fernandez T. You're making me happy, Fernandez T. When you say things like that, I hear this music in my ear. Well, oh, there. Yeah, that's right, Fernandez T. Perfect, Bridge, and thank you so much for in advance for the potential shout out. That'd be awesome. Okay, so Wendy, car accident and the next. Okay, Jonah, huge season. I definitely like it. Javi was as smart as hell and interesting. He takes the same deal that Omar was going to take, plus except for 10 years instead of the 5 years that Omar was going to get, and that's part of what the Fed said to the Byrdes, that if Javi's going to take the deal, he needs to give a better deal, which is one of those other weird things in the season. They make a big deal about how the Feds won't work with Omar because he maybe blew them up. And then they spend some time proving that it was Javi that blew them up, blew up the drop off. And then basically they go back and deal with the guy anyway that was the one that blew up, because it's all about the money. Ooh, it's true, because they can blow the horn, Fernandez. Okay, here's some more bullet points for this season. Wendy was unbearable, always working with an agenda, not thinking about others, only her own anger and her own perspective. And I think that was more so evident this season than ever with Wendy. I think before she at least had a little bit of Byrde family empathy going on at times, but now it's gotten to a point where she's just completely satisfying in almost every single way. Her hiring the dude that should be a Cardassian on Star Trek, a lawyer guy, to go through weird situations and kind of manipulate people on other ends. I like how she did get screwed over a little bit by the guy from the X-Men, the senator from the X-Men, in one situation with the whole thing with his son. And yeah, she's going to get him on the board to vote in to be on her team, but his son is on his side and is going to fix elections in the different direction, so it doesn't really continue. Frank Jr., I shot your dick off, no card exists, favorite line of the season. Frank Jr. was a good character this year. I didn't like him in the past seasons, but I enjoyed Frank Jr. this year. I thought what happened to his dad with Darlene was insane, and they gave him some interesting things to do. But I think the actor at times, and I mean this as a complimentary way of describing the performance that the actor does, felt like a different character to me, right? Like he felt like he was so broken down this season from everything that he went through, getting his dick shot off, that I feel like he sort of came off as a different character. He came off as somebody that was just obviously weaker and more meek, but even just the way, even his physical appearance seemed different because of how he was playing the part with more, I don't even know the word, but he just was much more effective this season in this kind of role, showing the outcome of the dickitude than he was playing a dick the last season he was on. Let's go. Even though it's a trumpet, same fucking difference. Thank you. Thank you, Fernandez T. And thank you so much for that super chat, Fernandez. You have no clue how much that means to me. Again, I've got to repeat this. There were 2 or 3 scenes with Marty, and I got to scroll up. I can't want to miss Bridget's comment. Again, there were 2 or 3 scenes with Marty where Wendy literally convinced herself that Ben might still be alive, suffering from the major post-traumatic stress disorder. I love that scene where Marty turns to her and is just like, Ben's not still alive. And thank you, Bridge. I'm feeling very Kenny G. Lately. I'm liking how poofy my hair is this week. I've been using the wet brush for a while, for years now, and I finally was like, I'm going to change it up and use a comb again. Not that because I was wet brushing, and then like combing it out, I was like, whoa, it's actually poofing again. So instead of compacting, my hair is poofing and it's gray. It's farther down past the screen. That's what she said. But thank you for loving my Kenny G hair with my horn playing. I wish I could. I don't know how I feel about that. No, are you saying I play trumpet like Kenny G? I wish. I'd be playing trumpet right now for a living. Okay, so Ruth's awesome, great ending, but how does she know how to find Javi? But I loved Ruth. Extremely great screaming. I like how the final scene that we see of the entire season, which again almost seemed to me more like the end of an episode rather than the end of a half season, with her just screaming onto the next moment when they went silent at the end. Fucking love it. And what Bridge was saying is absolutely right. There were several moments this season where Wendy pretended that Ben was still alive. And it's, how much is she just completely batshit, lost her mind, completely broken bad? And how much is it just that she lies so much that she has to just live in the lies? And because the best liars are the ones that just let it be the truth. They just walk that fine line of the truth versus fiction. Ozark gets really good ratings. Last week it was season 1 70s, season 2 80s, season 3 94, something like that. I'd be very curious to see where season 4 gets. It'd be hard for me to imagine season 4 wouldn't get similar ratings because it seems like it's the same level of quality. There's no difference in level of quality. Fernandez said I tried to watch Ozark, but it takes a little bit of a fantasy to get me, like Fargo with certain. And exactly that's what's interesting. I take it back. I hate the main actor. Fair enough. And honestly, that's going to stop you. There's certain shows that I could never get into for the same reason. Like there's certain actors or certain people that put you off in certain situations, and you can't quite quantify or verbalize why you don't like said fucking show, but you just don't for whatever reason. They just disagree with you. Maybe you see Jason Bateman as the guy in Horrible Bosses, or the guy from Hogan's Family, or the guy from Arrested Development, and you can't not see Michael Bluth there, and it's annoying you. I can't tell you, but everyone has shows that they like and they don't like for myriad of different reasons. No, she sat there in the store for weeks or whatever long it was. She sat in the parking lot. She moved into the parking lot. I did that once when I got kicked out of my house too. Fernandez says, I hate the sound of chewing, and there's a few scenes with actors chewing food like Jason Bateman. It drives me insane. Why didn't Javier get arrested? I was confused. He didn't get arrested because he took Omar's deal. So basically what happened was Maya screwed everyone over. They had the deal set for Omar to get it, to take the deal and kill his nephew. So the deal was set for Omar to stay in power for 5 years, work as an FBI informant, and kill his nephew and be on with it with his own expense. The FBI wasn't going to help him with anything to do with his nephew. He had to go and usurp his nephew or convince his nephew not to take charge. He would have had to kill him. Too dangerous, too stupid. So that was but originally the plan was something different. Maya agreed and brokered a different agreement. The FBI were being selfish in trying to continue to get these payoffs from these busting the money drops. So they were like pocketing the money, basically. So ultimately at that point, Maya decided to go to the regular police. And again, I could be slightly wrong after we watch this, but Maya decided to go to the regular cops, local authorities, and arrest the drug kingpin. Non-FBI. I don't know if they were DEA or regular cops. I thought they looked like regular cops to me. Went out on her own, basically, and got Omar arrested and charged for numerous crimes, maybe murder. I'm not sure what he was officially charged with. So the FBI was like, deal's over. You're fucked, Byrdes. It's done. And Javi went to Marty to go kill him because he was in charge. So then Wendy tried to broker a deal and got Javi to sit down with the FBI. It was a little bit of a trouble, but eventually they got them to sit down with the FBI. The FBI offered Javi the deal of 10 years to rat out and be an informant to other cartels in the way it all works. The same deal that Omar had, but 10 years of that deal. The FBI had to work with Javi right there because they want to get that money. And now they can get that money for 10 years instead of 5 years. And Omar is in jail and he got arrested because he was the one that was involved in that deal. And the agent Maya was going to screw everything over. Javi wasn't really a part of that. I'm sure maybe he could have been in that situation too, but the FBI got to him in time to get him immunity. I don't know if I confused things more or that somewhat explained things, but that's why Javi wasn't arrested and how that all ended up and how Omar ended up in jail. So I think that's how it happened, Killmonger. One shot of Henny already got me dancing on a pole. Yes, Fernandez T. Shake it, Fernandez T. I know I'm the one begging for super chats, but I want to throw dollar bills at you, Fernandez. Can I give a reverse super chat to Fernandez? Throw a dollar bill at him? I'm getting a little buzzy too. I don't usually drink mixed drinks and it's going right into my head. I wish, Bridge, I wish being a slut was an easy option. I want to be one, but unfortunately I can't find willing fighters. Oh, Bridge. We got to do, I still think we should do Tony and I should host a reality show, like a Bachelor type thing with trying to find Bridge a date, a partner in crime, where Tony and I are the judges. We get all the contestants, we rope it together. And anyways, the Bridge of Love, Bridge 4 of Love, Bridge for Love. Okay, that's it. From the creators of Rock of Love and from the creators of Flavor of Love, it's Bridge for Love. Join Bridge 4 as he lives in a house with 12 beautiful singles, all trying to vie for Bridge's affections. Join hosts Tony Teflon and Phil the Issues Guy for all wacky commentary in the house. I'd watch it. Okay, so anyways, why am I the lucky one? I'll take it. Because we want ratings, Bridge. That'll get us the best ratings. Okay, so cool, Killmonger. I'm glad that explained it. It took me a little bit too, in the sense of like at first I thought Omar was still getting out in 48 hours. And I'm like, why is Wendy talking shit to him? So I think Omar ends up staying in jail now. So that Wendy was lying to him the whole time. So Ruth, great all season. Wendy reached new levels using Ben, trying to get Jonah arrested. The heart attack scene just showed. She's like, you could just see that was that's some great acting. I mean, Laura Linney destroys it in general, but that scene during the heart attack, the way you see her just like, I can't let her die, but I'm going to enjoy every goddamn second of this. Wow. Very good. Very good. But getting Jonah almost arrested, the fact she checks in on it. She's like, yeah, he's not going to be in real trouble. It's just ridiculous that's their perspective. Someone's messaging me about the sports ball games. I'm not watching the sports ball game quite yet. I almost want to tell a story. A buddy of mine's. I'm in a bet right now. I have a little bet going on with the that's associated with the sports ball game going on right now. But yeah, Wendy using Jonah and even putting him in that situation. Every time somebody did some sort of progression towards Wendy solving a problem that Wendy caused, she just doubles down. She just doubles the hell down. I love it. Yeah, it seemed like they were going to take Javier down for the explosions, but they can't resist the opportunity to make more money for 10 years. 100%. Now that would be funny. I got their number before the pandemic. I don't know how many. Okay. Charlotte is part of the team, but lost her individuality in sacrificing her school and turning herself into a lemming for the benefit of Wendy's manipulation. That's it. Jonah taking no shit and doing his thing, but Darlene is crazy. And ultimately, Jonah got out a lot easier than it could have gone in a lot of different directions for him. And I'm sorry, I said it earlier. I know these got fans. I know people might seem like this is a little bit of I'm trying to talk like Wyatt because he talks like he's got something in his mouth all the time when he's talking. But Wyatt got what he fucking deserved. Again, I have no problem with him dating Darlene. No problem with the dynamic of their relationship from an age standpoint. The problem I have with the relationship is she's fucking psychotic. He knows she's psychotic and he still stays there and it gets him killed. He had his way out. And someone said it earlier in the chat. Once he left Ruth, you knew he was going to die. It was one of those things that you knew was going to happen. It was undoubtedly going to happen at some point in time before the end of the season. You knew it. This is what I was saying towards the beginning. When they call their shots and there's certain things you just know are inevitable and going to happen, you knew Wyatt was going to die. You knew the minute he started fucking Darlene and they started to become a couple. I don't care how sweet they tried to make it seem at times, and they did have an interesting chemistry, and it was an interesting depicted relationship on television that wasn't played in a psychotic necessarily way. It was played when they were together, like they both actually really cared about each other. But she is a psychotic. And I'll add 20 syllables to the word psychotic just to make my point hard. She is bad. And Wyatt, being someone that has supposedly been set up in this universe as somebody that's smarter than the average bear in the Ozark here, knows what kind of nightmare of a person she is, but chooses to ignore it and not think that this is all going to catch up with him one day. He obviously instinctively knows that, and that's why he tried to get out. And he's had those momentary times, a couple throughout the season, but god damn, he's got some pussy Stockholm going on there. I don't know what's going on with him, but there's some shit. I'm getting drunky now, but I don't care. Bridge says, I'm too naive to think Wyatt would die. I kind of liked Omar. I thought he was honorable for cartel kingpin. I did as well. And I think Omar was a very well depicted character. And in the same way that he's not like something we've necessarily seen before. His calmness, the way he conducts business isn't atypical of the way cartel kingpins and operatives are depicted in TV and movies, from where it's closer to the way that Javi is depicted. And I like that. I like Omar. I like his relationship with Wendy is one of the highlights of the entire series. And I think is going to be the final thing that Wendy hears is going to be his voice. I've said it a few times here today, and I'll say it again. Javi is going to kill. He will have his revenge on Wendy Psychotic Byrde. It's happening. It's coming. Book it. What's up, Edward Martin? We got the wonderful Edward Martin in the live chat. Thank you for joining us tonight. Joining me. I was going to say us like I'm Venom. Sometimes I am Venom, and I do have a co-host tonight. Let's get my co-host on. No, that's not my co-host. This is my co-host. How's it going tonight? How are you feeling? What did you think of the season? I think the fucking season sucked! Marty Byrde can eat my ass! That's nice. That's nice, Ruth. Thank you for joining us tonight. Thank you, Phil! Thank you, Ruth. You're very special. Okay, we're going to keep Ruth with us a little bit tonight. Sorry. I shouldn't scream like that. I'm not going to be able to talk tomorrow. I think that Marty or Wendy should really take the time to explain Ben's mental illness to Jonah. Charlotte kind of tries when they get into that whole thing, like that would be like you killing me, and she's like, well, he has he had mental health. Oh wait, okay, that's not a right answer. But you never get the impression that they've really expressed to Jonah how bad he really was. He was in a situation where you're watching the season of last year. Wendy didn't really have a choice. I'm not saying Wendy Byrde doesn't do some questionable psychotic shit. Excuse me. But I feel like her killing her brother is one of the things that makes the most sense. Like, I get it. Ben was a liability. He could not survive. She gave him as many chances as she could have possibly given him. He learned way too much information, way too fast. She fucked up by allowing him to know that information, but once he knew it, he was a goddamn liability. He would have brought them all down. All fucking down. Thank you, Edward. So yeah, this is my co-host tonight. You're Ruth. Listen, Ruth. Ruth, do you have anything else you want to say? No, you fucking piece of shit, Phil. I don't want to hear anything. Okay. Well, we'll go back here to then. Thank you. Okay. So Jonah not taking any shit and doing his things. Darlene's crazy. Well, I got what he deserved. Darlene was unstable and awful, but Wendy seemed even more sort of borderline psychotic at times. Lainey Love says, I would like to believe that Jonah wouldn't have continued on this path, but it also goes back to how similar Jonah and Ben process reality. Except I would say Jonah has almost more ability to process it in that ways, but they do sort of take in the stimulus in very, very similar ways, Lainey. Excellent point, as always, from Lainey Love in the live chat. Now, Marty, so many little funny moments and interesting points that I'm not going to go through it and quote every quotable line, but as I mentioned, it's also an extremely funny and quotable show that has so many little one-liners that come and go, especially from Ruth. Marty has a few too. But I'd say Ruth is the highlight point in the sense of one-liners and comments. She's incredible. And I hope this actress does a lot of work after this show because she has major upside. Now, Marty is such a damn passive guy. You know, you kind of wish he would call Wendy out more earlier. He eventually does, but I think he's super just crazy scared of her. We've dealt with this in previous seasons too, but I think his fear for who Wendy can be is reaching new levels of just new levels of fear. I think I just said fearful levels of fear, but he just knows how unstable she is and how she could just do anything at any point in time. And you could see the look on his face, as Bridge was pointed out a couple of times. Her ability to so quickly snap into these moments of Ben's alive and talk like he's alive is just really crazy, evil, psychotic shit. Killmonger says, I feel sorry for Ruth. It seems like she can never get over the hump. And every time she seems like she has an opportunity to, something else happens. And unlike some other shows that equal like this, I don't think everyone's in an evil position because of the Byrdes necessarily. I do think Ruth is, though. I think not every character would have necessarily had it worse or had it better if the Byrdes hadn't showed up. I think Ruth, though, life has been destroyed dealing with this situation, and everything ends up on her floor. Now, Javi is a great addition, very charismatic, reminds me a little bit of Lalo from Better Call Saul. I don't know if that was intentional, but they definitely share some similarities in their personality. I think Javi's a little bit more vicious and Lalo is a little bit more mentally probing in some ways, but they do have some similarities of character. The show is inventing Anna based on the true story. I think the trailer looks promising. Oh, Ruth, the actress, is great. She's starring in a Netflix show coming out soon. The show is inventing Anna based on the true story. I think the trailer, awesome. Julie Gardner is the actor's name. Thank you. I've been calling her Ruth this whole time. I want to give Julie some credit. Feds are shady as fuck, except for Agent Maya, who is going to partner with the PI to bring in some good stuff, and who knows how long that's going to last next season. I already talked about the color scheme of the whole season. The music was the best season ever. The show just keeps getting deeper and deeper in the way they just dig more and more holes for these characters to climb out of. And unlike some other shows where things always could go clean, nothing goes completely clean for the Byrdes. And that's what I like. I think a show like this can always have someone like Wendy bailing them out with her superior manipulation skills, or Marty's ability to grovel and use math and manipulation as well to his advantage. But this show doesn't just do that. It keeps making things, it keeps building and building and building and adding more pressure. And every time they come up and they come through a solution, they are dirtier because of it. And it just keeps going in that path. And I love it. One thing I wasn't expecting this season, even right from the beginning in the previews that we saw, I wasn't expecting Marty and Ruth to have such a big relationship this season. And I loved them together. Again, the actors have extremely great chemistry, maybe the best chemistry of any of the actors in the entire cast, including Linney and Jason Bateman. Marty, Jason Bateman, and Julie. I want to call her Julia Bridge. I'm going to call her Julia. I'm going to call her Julia until it sticks. No, Julie Garner and Jason Bateman have excellent chemistry. And I'm glad that we saw them working together so many times this season and still having an interesting relationship, even though they don't technically work together anymore. Now, the story with the family needing drugs, Wendy's whole thing with, getting the heroin for the pharmaceutical manufacturer and all of that was interesting enough to carry the story through in the season, but nothing I want to see go past this block of episodes. Interesting enough, but nothing incredibly crazy compelling, but it did create a couple of tense moments. But who also makes tense moments is Wendy, making everything fucking worse. Always antagonistic towards Ruth and others, and her sense of control is almost pathological. And that's where she's like Walter White or like Tony Soprano. That's the through line of all three characters, in that sense of what makes them insufferable sometimes. They have this pathological sense of controlled destruction. Ruth and Wendy, I just put in capital letters again, love them. Darlene shoots first and with hilarious consequences. Ruth is alone and she's a ticking time bomb all season. And finally that bomb blows up. It was good to see Wendy get screwed over a couple times with the PI getting that dude that hated. Oh yeah. The PI screwing with things a couple times to screw Wendy over a little bit. And also with the senator guy. I enjoyed that. The frustration of the new sheriff dealing with this whole entire world also had me laughing a bunch throughout the entire season 2. I know the new sheriff wasn't really a main character, but I enjoyed their depiction and their frustrations with this whole world in having to deal with it. DJ Better in the live chat. Don't watch Ozark, but I just wanted to pop in and say hi. Great to see you, Miss DJ Better. Hope you're feeling better, doing well, and toast to you. You better watch out. The Byrdes are on their way back to your town. Bridge. That's fucking comedy gold. You can't make shit like that up. I started calling her Julia, and I was saying it wrong, not because I know. And then you said no, Julie, or because you had written Julie, and then it ends up. So I correct myself, and then it ends up being Julia, anyways. So we're gonna start to wrap things up here. Let me end the poll. Who are you most mad at this season? Most of our poll results are, I didn't click on it exactly. The poll results say that most of you, there it is. I'm sorry, I had to wait for it. Wendy you were most mad at this season. 58% of you said Wendy and 41% of you said Jonah. And I would agree with that. I was way more mad at Wendy than I was Jonah. Wendy continuously, as I said many times tonight, pissed me off to the nth degree. She was annoying, effective. I can't stop you. I can't not use that word too. I can say all this I want about Wendy. I really can. I am. I'm screaming. I'm yelling. I'm blowing my trumpet because Fernandez gave us a super chat donation. I'm beating drums next time. I'm jumping up and down like an idiot. I'm getting drunk. But really what it comes down to is Wendy is mostly effective when it comes to getting shit done. She just doesn't care who she burns. And when it comes to personal interactions with people, like dealing with her son or dealing with her family members and other people, that's when this new Wendy just is completely delusional about the whole situation. I think we've pretty much covered almost every major point of this season. I don't know what else really to hit on that we haven't hit on. Lots of amazing performances, as I said. What do I think is going to happen in the final 7 episodes of the next season? I'll get a little bit more into predictions in a later video. I'm going to work on a short video with a theory I have on an endpoint game in Ozark. But I think I've said it a few times tonight. I think most people don't get out of live here. I think Javi does not survive. I think Ruth gets her revenge and kills him. But I don't think Ruth survives, unfortunately, either. I think Ruth and Wendy die. I think Jonah might die. Get involved a bit too much because he gets himself involved. And I think Jason Bateman, I think Marty survives it all. If one person survives it all, it's Marty. And I think he has a very specific fate that I'll get into at a later date. I think Omar ends up back in charge. I think he ends up out of jail and in charge of his empire again by the end of all of this. I think he's the winner of Ozark. And he lets Marty go but I don't know, maybe not. Maybe it very easily could go in a lot of other crazy directions. I'm very excited to rewatch this season again and rewatch the whole series once we get word for the second half of the season. So everyone, you guys have been amazing tonight joining me. Start to wrap this up. Just going to finish my drink and going to be done. And then I'm going to be drunk rolling around for the rest of the evening. My house kicking shit. Debating on whether I'm going to come on again and just babble. But everyone, toast to you. I drink the last of my drink, smoke the last of my smoke, and call this a night, everybody. So let's see. And also, pretty soon we're going to have the show Peacemaker. Joe Dirty Locks can't wait to tell you what he thinks about Peacemaker. Let me tell you. Spoiler, he loves it. If you guys have any last minute questions about anything that I did not hit about Ozark Season 4, now's the time to get them in. Also, if you're watching this towards the end of the video and you've made it this far, please hit that like button. If you haven't hit that subscribe button, do that as well and hit that notifications bell and click on all notifications so you can see every time that I go live talking about Ozark or any other show. Not sure exactly what's next, but lots more fun stuff coming up next. Maybe the Joe show that Joe wants me to cover, the Peacemaker. We might be talking about that next. And we have the final season of The Walking Disaster coming back in February, and a couple of other shows coming up this year that we're going to be talking about. The new Game of Thrones prequel series, we'll be talking about that. We'll be talking about The Last of Us. We'll be talking about the Lord of the Rings series on Amazon, the new season of The Boys, the final section of Ozark, Stranger Things, the final year, and there must be a few things I'm forgetting. Obviously, some classic stuff, and some getting back to doing some Sopranos stuff, and also some more live watches of events. We're gonna do some get back to watching shitty award shows when I can, and other events live. Now that I have a place that's more open to be able to stream in my living room. So Jonah really had way too much freedom for a teenager. There's no way that someone his age should be able to move about like an adult. Marty and Wendy were preoccupied with their family safety. And I also think when their kids found out about what they were doing, they found themselves in a position where it made it difficult to be disciplinary after they were shown to be money laundering for drug kingpins. Nancy Botwin dealt with a similar issue with Silas and Shane in Weeds, where it's once you're outed to your kids about doing something like that, it's very hard to discipline them. But they really should have thrown their fists down when it comes to Jonah. Jonah's getting away with way too much. And Wendy, even a broken clock is right a few times a day, twice a day. Wendy is 100% correct when she says to Marty, you shouldn't be proud of him for doing this. This is fucking dangerous. And by doing that, she Marty gave him the fuel that he needed to keep doing it. Because as much as he's mad at both his parents, he's really just mad at Wendy. And if Marty was like, you know, kid, you really shouldn't be doing this. But Marty never really says that in so many words. And when he does say it, he says it in such a wishy-washy way that Jonah can't help but think that, yeah, you're telling me to stop because mom's making you do it. Killmonger. I don't want to say it because I don't want someone to steal my fucking idea, but that's exactly what I think. I think that they hinted at it 2 or 3 times this season that Marty's going to become a Fed. And there's a couple of individual scenes. There's one obvious one and then there's not so obvious one. I think that's almost a done deal. So yeah, if you made it this far and you make a video and I see your video came out before mine, you fucking bastard. I'll hunt you down, you bastards. But yeah, that's basically the thing. I've been like, oh, that's what I think. I think when Maya says that, and there's another scene, I think there's a couple of moments where they hint that that's going to be the end game for Marty. So I am with you on that, Killmonger. And I'm also with all of you guys for joining me tonight for this really fun discussion on Ozarks. Thank you for all of you that have already binge watched it, that were able to join me for this discussion. And then you guys that watch this later, very much appreciated as well. If you enjoyed this, hit that like button and hit that subscribe button. Share the channel with a friend. Let me play some music while I finish my drink. Woo! Oh, yes. This has been the Issues program, and no one's got issues like the Byrde family. May you have the cheeriness of a guy who gets his junk shot off. And that's, if we can take anything from all of this, Corey Mitchell, we can take anything from any of this. We all need to try to have the cheeriness of the guy that got his junk cut off. And who knows, I may see you again another day, another way. And I'll still going to look for that card. Somebody better make a card, make a Etsy greeting card. I'm sorry you shot your dick off. I think that needs to happen. Bridge 4. There's a flip side to that. Marty also told Meyer there's room for her in his foundation. Bridge, those are the 2 points. And I think that more symbolizes that Marty's going to be a Fed, even in that moment, that Marty really wants to work with her. But you're right, it could go either direction. And when I make said video, I'll make sure I offer both perspectives on that, because it is true, it could go the other direction where, because she's already disillusioned with the FBI, Marty could figure out a way to convince her to work together in a way of being Robin Hood-y and stealing from the rich to give to the poor kind of thing, or taking down even worse people than they are in some ways in financial situations. Who knows? But I do think the end of the series ends with Maya and Marty working together. I think they've built the 2 of them up in a weird way, and I think there will be a payoff from it personally. That's the direction I think it's motherfucking going. Everybody, if you haven't already, make sure you hit that like button and the subscribe button and share the channel with a friend. And I'll be back to talk all new nonsense some point this week. Love you guys. Talk to you next time. Peace. Will I cover Raised by Wolves? I have to catch up on season 1. I think Joe's watched it, but one way or another, it does seem like a show that Joe has checked out. I'll touch base with him, and we'll try to make mention of it in some way. I got to catch up on it before I can tell you if I'm going to cover it. The next shows that I think I'm going to try to see if I can cover is Peacemaker, because Joe wants to do it. But I'm not saying no. I feel like between Joe and I, we watch almost everything. So if I haven't watched it, I'll try to get Joe to share his thoughts on the show. So I love me some Ragnar, though. Ragnar Lothbrok.